Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Now listen to me, Ty, man, he's caught up. He's caught up. He got his gal, he's holding him down. She fighting him in court. She's on bond, but she's fighting him in court. And even if she does get in trouble, it looks like that they may be able to give her probation, but the police know, the DA and them know. They know that this ain't her stuff. But she wants to play hardball. Hey, it's her career. This is her life. A lot of females do this. You know what I'm saying? They say they ride or die. You understand what I'm saying? They're willing to run their whole lives for the dude that they're with. Some people say it's straight, some people say it ain't. You know what I mean? She didn't know what was going on. She had no idea that he had that after. Now, she did know he was hustling, but she ain't had nothing to do with it. Is she just as culpable? Should she be held accountable for something that he had at the house? What do you do? See, it's one thing to talk the game. You understand what I'm saying? It's another thing to play the game. And now, she's caught in the middle of it. What do you do? She don't want to lose her career. She worked hard for that. She don't want to end up in the legal system. She knows how that works. Why won't he take the charge? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Simple. Mathematics. He got 10 plus years on paper that he's working on right now while he's back in the jail. And for what they caught her with, that gun and that dope, he could probably end up with another 30 or 40 with enhancement factors. And he gonna have to do it. Yeah, we know it's a nonviolent charge, and then he gotta hope the feds don't pick it up. Because if the feds pick it up, he really through. He going to federal penitentiary. And wait a minute. See, last time, he ended up getting moved to a facility that was light on him. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. It is what it is in the penitentiary. Everybody in the penitentiary ain't no fighter, ain't no killer, and all this and that, right? Somebody gonna be the punching bag in the penitentiary. You know? You just learn to take the punches, or eventually you learn to fight back. And that's what happens. You know, sometimes people just get tired of beating on you, and they look at it like, well, you know, move on to the next person. So this is the business. So now, let me tell you something. He got this gal. Been sending them videos. They've been having real good time and all this and that. He talking to her later on the phone at night. See, his gal, you know, she was able to somehow or another find her a job to where she couldn't work where she used to work. But because she got all the license and certifications, she was able to do some home health care. You understand what I'm saying? So she had a few clients, so she couldn't be on the phone with him all the time. So he was able to talk to this other girl a lot. And he spent a lot of time on the phone with her, kicking it, he-hen and ha-ha, and doing all these different types of things, right? Videos going back and forth of them bucket naked doing this and that and all kinds of old stuff, just jumping around, just having a funky good time. But guess what? Listen to me. See, with that kind of stuff, it's always a day of reckoning. It's always a day of reckoning. You see, the police, they'll search you and they'll search you and they'll miss and they'll miss and they'll miss, and you'll continue to be able to get away and maneuver and just slide through and all this and that, having these sleepless nights. Every sound you hear, you got to wake up and look to see, are they coming? Is this the night? Is that the night? But at the same time, all they got to do is get it right one time. You got to get it right every time. Well, guess what? The odds are against you. The house always wins. And the house in this situation is the Department of Corrections. And this particular night, they won. Now, this particular officer, though, is at work. She gets a call. And they say, report to the Human Resources Department, please. She tells them, yes, okay, what is this about? They said, well, we'll tell you when you get down here. So she walks down to the Human Resources Department, unaware of what's going on. So when she gets down there, they ask her to sit down, and internal affairs officers, they walked in, envelopes in hand. One playing good cop, the other one playing bad cop. The bad cop throw the folder on the table in front of him, and the pictures slid out. And he hurry up and he opened it up and he spread the pictures out. All of them are pictures without a head on. You don't know who the person is. So is this you? She looks at the pictures and she starts to sweat. She says, no, that's not me. So he said, hold on a second. And he pulled out his phone and he hit play and he turned the video towards her. He said, is that you? It's a video of somebody playing in that thing, right? But no face, no head on it. She said, no, that's not me. But she leaned back and she crossed her arms. She got real defensive about it, right? So the female sitting there, she looks at her. She said, look, girl, I understand. He probably lied and tricked you, didn't he? All you got to do is tell her, say, we're going to go take care of him, and then you can just go on back to your post. So, old girl, understanding that this was game, she looked at it. She said, look, I don't have time for this. What y'all going to do? So the female looked at it and switched up. She said, well, you just tell us what's going on, and then we're going to tell you what we're going to do. And she said, I didn't even know he was locked up. Y'all said he locked up. I didn't know he was locked up. So the female said, so you admit this is you? She said, yeah, that's me. So the IA dude, he grabbed the folder, he put all the pictures back in the folder, he closed the folder, and they both walk out. And then the warden and a couple of other people walked in, and they said, the warden told her, said, you're fired. Get up. They walked her out. Get out. Get out. You're not allowed on this property ever again. And she left, upset and angry. Upset and angry. And then, the shenanigans come into play. Let me tell you how these folks are. It's a dirty game, y'all. It's a dirty game. Now the DA's got leverage. Plenty of leverage. Not gonna waste it. So the DA, he tells one of the females in the office, he said, look, give her a call. Talking about Ty's girl. Give her a call and tell her that we'd like to talk to her and show her something. And she says, I'll take care of that. So she calls her, gets her on the phone, and she tells them, the girl asks, what do you want to show me? She said, I'm going to send you a video from this number. First she said, do you recognize this phone number? And she knew that number, but she was like, I don't know that number, because she was afraid that it would interfere with her bail, because she wasn't supposed to be breaking any laws, and it's against the law. It's not against the law to talk to somebody in prison. But she didn't know, because it was a burner phone. She said, no, I do not recognize that number, but she did. So the female DA said, well, okay, I'll play your game. But she said, I'm finna send you something that was found on that phone. I'm finna send you something. So she sends her the video of the girl playing with that thing. She said, why are you sending me this trash? Don't be sending me stuff like this. She said, no, this is what was on that phone. She said, I don't believe that. She said, I tell you what you do then. This is what you do. I'm going to hang up, and you call that number back. And when I answer that phone, you're going to know that I'm telling you the truth. So the DA didn't even wait for her to respond. She hung it up. Old girl sat there for a minute, not sure what to do, but her curiosity was eating her up. She had to know. She had to know. She had too much riding on this. This dude that she says she's willing to go down for, lose her career for, change her life for, how dare he? She's sitting there rocking. Her curiosity got the best of her. She hit them digits. The phone ring. The DA said, you believe me now? She said, do you believe me now? She said, tell me what happened. And she told her during a random shakedown at the prison, your guy got caught with this phone. And when we got the phone, we went in there and opened it up and saw all of these pictures and videos, and we went and found out that it was an officer that worked at the penitentiary. And then when we confronted her, she said she didn't know who Ty was. She didn't know the number or anything like that, but she admitted that was her in the video and on the pictures. And we got text messages too if you want them. She said, yeah, send me those text messages. So she sent her the text messages that they had back and forth. It was thousands of them. And in these text messages, Ty was saying that he didn't care nothing about Gab. He was just using Gab. She was going to take the charge for him, so that's the only reason he was staying with her. So the female DA, understanding what was going on, she said, look, I know right now you got a lot to think about, but I'm going to leave something with you. You got my number. Don't go down for somebody like this. If he loved you, he wouldn't have done this to you. He wouldn't have done this. You cannot trust somebody like this. Do you believe now, knowing what you know, that after you take this charge, he's going to stay with you? Do you really believe that? He couldn't even wait until he got out. Because she said it was a chance he would have got out. If you'd have took the charge and you'd have got probation or whatever, he would have went back in front of the board with a revocation hearing because the charges wouldn't have been on him and he probably would have been reinstated to parole. He couldn't wait for you? Somebody that would be willing to do what you were doing? Old girl just sitting there in silence, thinking, trying to figure out what in the world is going on. Why in the world would he do this to me? So she hung the phone up, and that was a long night, y'all. She sat there and she cried and she cried and she called her mama, told her mama what happened. And her mama told her, don't you go down for him. I've been telling you, don't do that. You should have never been involved with him anyway. You know how parents do. All that I told you so stuff. She didn't want to hear that right then. She didn't. So she called Ty's mama. And she got Ty's mama on the phone and said, did you know? Ty's mama said, no what? She said, did you know he was talking to another woman? Ty's mother said, no, I did not. I did not know that. And she didn't. She said, what happened? Tell me. So old girl started to explain to Ty's mama what happened. And Ty's mother heart broke for her. So she said, what should I do? What should I do? I love him. And I want to be with him. And Ty's own mother said this, look, how can you pledge your life to somebody that would do you like that? She said, I love my son. But my son need to grow up and be a man. He need to start taking care of his responsibilities. He need to start standing up on his own. And he ain't going to be able to do that as long as you keep on doing what you're doing and I keep doing what I'm doing. She said, I'm done with it. He going to do this one on his own. I'll make sure that he's straight. Money on his books because it's his money that I'll be putting on there. But I'm not going up in there to visit him. I'm not finna be doing none of that because he know better. I told him if he go back in now, he gonna do this one on his own. And he kept telling me he had one more run in it. And I kept telling him to sit down, go to church with me, do all of these different types of things. And he said he ain't ready yet. Well, he gonna get plenty of time to get ready. So old girl sitting on the other end of the phone and she's sitting there, she's thinking, her mind is racing. She still love this fool. She still love him. And she don't know what to do. She's lost. How to deal with this, what to do. Do I do this, do I do that? And she told her what the DA said. And Ty's mama said, if you don't call him, I'm going to call him for you. She said, I'm going to call him. She said, that's what you need to do. And she said, you need to tell him. He needs a reality check. He needs to know what he's dealing with. He needs to know that he ain't fooling nobody no more. So she got off the phone. The phone rang. You have a collect call. It was Ty. She answered the phone screaming. You ain't nothing to me. You lied to me, and now you been messing with this girl. You been doing all these different types of things. How could you do me like that after everything that we've been through and everything that I said I was gonna do for you? How could you do this to me? And he's sitting on the phone silent. He don't know what to say. He don't know what to say, and he does like a lot of people in the penitentiary. He try to switch it around and make it about her. Try to make her feel like she was the problem. If you'd have done this for me and done that for me, I wouldn't have had to ask nobody else. And she said, what is it that she did for you that I haven't done? Name one thing. He couldn't. He couldn't. She had taken care of his bills. She had made sure he had money on his books, money on the phone. She done played in a thing for him. She done everything that woman done for him and more. There was no separation, no space between the two, except for one thing. She was willing to ruin her career for him because they were going to be all right. She had bought into all the hype that, all the money that he had, she would be able to live off that until things got straight. Things to the point where she could get back into nursing. Because she would have lost her license, but she would have been able to reapply. And they were going to be able to make it on the kind of money that he had put away. She had bought into that. But her heart was breaking. And she said, no more. No more. She said, you on your own. She said, I'm going to call the DA in the morning and I'm going to tell them the truth about this. I'm going to tell them that is your stuff. And he said, that's in your house. That house is in your name, not mine. And then she thought the light bulb went off in her head. That's true. But surely the DA and them know that. That's what she's thinking. Why would they tell me that all I have to do is tell them that it's his and I'm out of it? Why are they saying that? Are they trying to trick me? This is how her mind is working. So she yells at him and tells him, don't ever call again, and she hangs up the phone. She couldn't wait till the morning. So she called her lawyer. And she told her lawyer everything that had happened. Everything. And she told her lawyer, after all of that crying, she told her lawyer, I want to talk to the DA. I want out of this. That is not my stuff. And her lawyer said, I'll take care of that first thing in the morning. Meet me at my office. Meet me at my office. So bright and early that morning, she's down to her lawyer's office. When she gets to the lawyer's office, the lawyer's waiting on her. She goes into the back, into the conference room in the lawyer's office. The lawyer and the district attorney are waiting on her. They're waiting. The DA stands up and he shakes her hand. He said, look, I understand the pressure that you're under, and I wish it wouldn't have happened like this, but you needed to know who you were really dealing with. This guy can't be trusted. All he does is use and manipulate people. He's a very angry, vindictive, manipulative person. And with your help, we're going to take him off the streets for a very long time. She didn't feel good about what he just said. She didn't like that. Her heart was broken. This man that she loved had betrayed her. She didn't care nothing about him betraying everybody else. She knew he was a drug dealer. She just had hope in her heart for better for him. But he didn't see that. He didn't see that. So in this situation, she was crushed. And she didn't want the DA to think that she was happy about what was going on, because she wasn't. And if you want to know how this thing continues to play out, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, because it's going to get better. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all. I'm getting